set your aim higher too.
Hello everyone, it's my Game of the Year video. Now I have to say, when the time came to choosing a favourite video game this year, it was really hard. We've had some amazing titles. I mean, this year practically kicked off with remakes of two of my all-time favourite games, Final Fantasy VII and Resident Evil 3. Then, we had beautiful narrative games that really meant a lot to me, like The Last of Us Part 2 and Tell Me Why. Then, there were gorgeous games like Ghost of Tsushima and Spider-Man Miles Morales. We had Demon's Souls on PS5, social games that really helped a lot of people through a hard time like Animal Crossing and Fall Guys and Among Us. But there was one game I just kept coming back to. And honestly, I would never have thought it would be the game of the year I'd have picked for myself. But Hades really is just one of those titles. See, I don't really vibe with roguelike or roguelite games. Well, actually that's not really true. I just haven't played that many because they don't really interest me. I need good stories and interesting characters and, I guess, real motivation to stick at something that is designed to be, on some level, repetitive. And Hades has all that, and then some. When you first start Hades, it seems so simple and straightforward. Choose your weapon, fight your way through the underworld, and escape to the surface realm. It all feels very effortless in tone and look. It doesn't overload you with information or force you to learn a bunch of complex rules and mechanics up front. Then you die, maybe you die again, and the true scale of the game begins to reveal itself. Because underneath that seemingly effortless exterior, there is so much more to discover. As you explore, as you unlock new weapons and collect new trinkets and toys to bring back to your home for upgrades, and as you strengthen your relationships with the characters you meet along the way, new opportunities will continuously present themselves, making what was once a very straightforward escape attempt more complicated and much more interesting. Now, that may be something that a lot of the best roguelikes/roguelites do, tempt you back again and again and again with new things to unlock the more you play. But the great thing Hades does is that it doesn't frame this process as unlocking or leveling up or some other inherently gamey action. Everything you do is in service to the story, and the story serves to enhance how wonderful the game feels to play. And both the gameplay and the story of Hades constantly seem to keep opening and broadening in ways you never expect. Even after multiple successful escape attempts from Hades, even after you see the credits roll, even after you think you've seen all there is to see, the game isn't scared to introduce brand new mechanics or concepts dozens of hours in.
Blast.
That actually goes for characters too. Some, the game doesn't even introduce until a little while in. The characters are really where the charm of Hades lies, and they're all incredibly well crafted, from their gorgeous designs, seriously, it's hard not to fancy literally everyone in this game, to the universally great, pretty understated voice acting, which gives the whole game a very chill ASMR vibe. And because all these characters are so alluring, because you can never bet on when you'll see a lot of them, and because you are constantly encouraged to deepen your relationship with them all, the game uses them as a very successful pull to keep you coming back for more.
The way on that one. Though I did not expect you to get free reign to go there as you please.
This great use of a diverse cast of characters gets even more interesting when it comes to the Olympians, whose boons and perks are tied somewhat to their personalities. Dionysus is the fun-loving, drunken frat boy who will help you give your foes wicked hangovers. Poseidon is the try-hard cool uncle who just wants to cause a bit of chaos. Athena is the no-nonsense cousin who is always one step ahead of everyone else. The gods each offer vastly different abilities, which not only make their personalities so much more well-defined and fully rounded in your mind, they also help you plan the kind of build you want to create on a run, because each character is such a strong reflection of the skills they might give you. Do you want to be as precise and focused at damage dealing as Artemis? Or do you just want to rain down thunder, like Zeus?
Rattles on about her missing girls, Agrius. But I want you to understand something, all right?
Planning and creating your builds is just something that gets more fun the more you play. See, Hades doesn't give you every tool up front, but first it makes sure you get the feel of one concept before loading more on. And that's great, because by the time you get a sense for the real variance in builds and weapons and the powers you can take advantage of as you progress, you feel truly powerful. And there's a certain spiciness in never knowing what you'll be offered, but making the best of it anyway. The game never makes you feel like a run is wasted because you're still empowered in being able to shape the builds by removing abilities, upgrading them, swapping some out, and so on. And when you hit upon a weapon boon ability formula that just works, it's a super satisfying mix of skill, forward planning, and just flat out good luck.
My shield. You're no mere weapon, are you?
Which is incredible, really, when you're initially led to believe that your options are limited to only a meager number of weapons and a handful of powers. It is so much more in-depth than that. The game is unpredictable enough that every run is enjoyably different, and you can never get too comfortable in picking the same weapon or boons over and over again. What works for one boss might see you flattened by regular enemies in another realm. Or you might think you have a rubbish loadout until one little upgrade makes it all work beautifully. There's a gorgeous crunchiness to the gameplay that makes one more run always feel like a temptation you cannot ignore. And you know, I haven't even touched on how good it looks. Literally every aspect of Hades' design is dripping with style. The colours, the glossiness, the tiny details that let you know it was made with love. It's a visual feast in a way that few games are. And this has certainly contributed to its popularity online. Supergiant really made this game alongside its community, and it feels all the better for it. It's been made to make players feel good and powerful, and those players want to share that feeling with others in the form of speedruns, fan art, fan fiction, and other fun stuff.
Theseus, shut it for a bit. Hello, supportive shade.
There's a very specific texture to Hades. It encourages players to lean into the lore, to turn these characters into lovable memes, to yearn for the glory of Elysium, but also the quiet moments at home in Zagreus' weirdly teenage bedchambers. You're encouraged to make that space your own with posters and rugs and other fun little additions, just for the hell of it. You can pet Cerberus to your heart's content. There are multiple canonically queer pairings, and the game is not coy about celebrating them. There are loads of brilliant risk-reward threads woven throughout runs, including chaos boons and treasure chests. So you'll never want to just coast along to victory, but will always be coaxed into going big or literally going home. I guess the reason I'm choosing Hades as my game of the year over some maybe more obvious choices is that it felt like the perfect game for me for right now. In a year where I found myself strangely busier than ever before, where there were so many huge, incredible, massive titles all vying for attention, I found Hades on Switch to be the perfect retreat, and one that valued my time and the experience it could give me above everything else. It was a game I could pick up for 10 minutes or an hour, depending on how I was feeling. It wasn't gritty or dark despite being set in the underworld, quite the opposite in fact. It was challenging for sure, but it was never a slog. And the music, the gorgeous characters, the deceptively deep story, and the sumptuous visuals made for an engrossing, glossy adventure that was the perfect antidote and escape to everything else that was going on in the world.
It's better stay away from me.
You wait for just a moment, Zach, because I got just the thing for this occasion. You are gonna love it. Get a load of this.
There were honestly tons of games that I really enjoyed this year, like a surprising number in fact. But Hades was something special, and I know it's a game that I will be going back to even into the new year. I love that there have been so many social games that have brought people together in 2020. Animal Crossing, Phasmophobia, Among Us, Grounded. And I also like that there have been loads of beautifully crafted single-player experiences that have set out to tell great stories, like The Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima, and Miles Morales. But Hades has kind of felt like the best of both of those worlds. It has the replayability of a multiplayer game, and I've had a lot of fun playing it side by side with my partner, taking turns with runs and experimenting together with different types of combat. But then there's that single-player storycraft that makes Hades a more meaningful, personal experience. The relationships between characters that keep you coming back for more. Who would have thought the perfect respite from this dumpster fire of a year would be in literal hell? Well, I guess I'll see you there. So, Hades was my game of the year, but how about Ian and Zoe's? Well, you will find out over the next couple of days. And stay tuned after that for more festive videos because we have one coming every single day. And then after that, in 2021, you can, of course, expect the usual mix of live streams, let's plays, previews, reviews, and yes, a whole lot of chaos. So, we will see you then. Bye!